Hello, Steeler Nation, and welcome to the Pittsburgh Steelers Syndicate podcast. I'm your host, Britsburgh Owen, speaking to you here in the UK, where it's not quite as late as it usually is. It's only 20 past 9. And I'm joined, as always, by Steeler Nation Australia, Mr. Mark Davison. How's it going, Mr. Mark Davison, sir?
Pretty frustrated, man, to be honest. I just streamed the game with a lot of guys who came over on Steelers Australia, but I'm pretty overall frustrated with that performance by our Steelers at the home field advantage. Week one excitement. That's now the fifth time they haven't won with Watt, so that's quite crazy. In a positive news to start the show, the Browns lost. The Jets beat the Browns 31-30, and right now they're coming back. They're trying to come back. The Ravens have one more play. They're losing 42-38. So how are you doing?
I'm good, man. Just fed up, really. It's been a really pretty much garbage weekend for me for sport. I went to watch my favourite rugby team on Saturday, and they played absolutely shocking and lost. And then I watched the Pittsburgh Steelers, and then they lose as well. And I don't know. To be honest with you, I just sat there, and it was uninspiring, boring garbage from the first drive to the last Pittsburgh drive. It was just absolutely uninspiring, boring garbage by the offense, and it just seemed like, to me, Mark, and we're going to talk about each position group in a minute, guys, but it just seems sort of an overall summary. That offense has not made any steps forward from last week.
Oh, the Ravens are going to the house, and if they throw a flag there, nah, game's over. All right, good. I'm glad they didn't throw a flag there. Sorry, I had to see that last play. No, their offense is so uninspiring. It's awful, beyond awful. The play calling is. I said today in my live chat, I was like, it's like what's that? Bipolar. The offense is bipolar. One minute you're throwing a good pass to Deontay Johnson. Next minute you're throwing a screen to Deontay Johnson going nowhere and losing yards. It's really frustrating. There's no rhythm or rhyme to it, man. And I'm kind of fed up with it. It's Matt Canada's second year taking over the reins. And I'm like, I'm done. You can't win football games this way.
Yeah, there's two comments in the live chat already. Michael O'Malley says, the team is terrible, the coaching is terrible. Tomlin had 15 winning seasons because he had Ben Roethlisberger, period. He will make the Steelers the Browns if he gets enough time coaching. Overreaction, Mark, or a fair shout? What do you think?
No, there's truth to that. And what I like about that comment, right? Michael's a good mate of the program, and he's not saying fire Tomlin, but he's putting the heat on him, right? So I like that comment. Like, I'm a big Tomlin apologist, to some people. And I like that. To me, it's not saying you want to fire him, but it's putting him on the hot seat, and it's stating that is factual. So right now in this early season, the team somehow beats a Bengals team, right? And then we can't beat a Mac Jones led Patriot team at home. But they did exactly what I thought they would do: low scoring, get in front, and start running the football, and that's what they did.
Yeah, as JJ552 says, Browns and Ravens both lose. And then he says, go Cowboys.
Yeah, if the Cowboys, I don't think, honestly, if I see the Cowboys win today, I might go out and buy a Cooper Rush jersey because I don't think he's going to win. But overall, man, like, what are your thoughts overall, like, of this offense? And then we'll start breaking it down. But it is terrible, dude.
Overall, to me, there just doesn't seem any sort of scheme or plan. It seems that every single drive is just run, pass, out. Run, pass, out. There just doesn't seem to be any sort of creativity there. There doesn't seem to be any innovation there. There just seems to be no plan at all. There's not even a plan B because there isn't even a plan A, I don't think. That's what they say. If your plan A is not working, go to plan B and then your plan C. Well, to me, the offense doesn't even seem to have a plan A. It just seems to have a, oh God, we've got the ball. What the hell do we do with it once we've got it? That's kind of the thing, isn't it? So, well, I want to start breaking. Let's take the offense, Mark, and let's talk about the offense first. And let's break it down by position group. Now, I want to start with one group in particular because I am personally fed up to the back teeth of reading on Twitter and on other social media platforms it's the offensive line's fault. It's the offensive line's fault. We can't play Kenny Pickett because of the offensive line. If we play Kenny Pickett, he gets killed by this offensive line. Guys, are you watching the same offensive line that we are watching? That people like Chris Carter, Dejan Kovacevic, Dale Lolly, Matt Williamson, guys who are Steelers insiders that know what they're talking about, who actually say the pass protection is not brilliant, but it's solid. And Kenny is Mitch is wishful thinking there. Mitch is getting clean pockets. Yes, the run blocking is not great. We'll come on to that. But can we please shut up blaming it on the offensive line? I mean, what's your opinion on the offensive line, Mark?
It's not the offensive line's fault. It's the fault. It's the pass. It's the pass decision making. It's the confidence. It's everything being a quarterback. It's being a leader, being a captain. And Trubisky's not doing that. He's not doing it. And it's a play selection too. It's not the offensive line is doing their best. That one sack that Trubisky gave himself, he almost was going to run out of bounds and he could have threw it away. He gave himself a sack. You just can't make those choices. He's not a leader out there. I want someone to be a leader. I'm not saying you need to be a franchise guy, but I want someone to play with a bit of passion and a bit of vigor. But they're not doing that, man. The offensive line to me is they're playing okay to good. Do they need to be better? Yes, but there's no money in the offensive line. There's no money since 2012, our first round pick. We got to play what we got, and what we got is an okay line giving you enough time to get the ball out. And Trubisky is not finding anyone open down the field. No one.
Interesting comment from Robin Ralph there. We didn't even make the spread. I forgot else here. JJ52 says it used to be run, pass, punt. Now it's run, pass, punt. It's about right. We have a huge problem if it's Canada and partially Tomlin.
That's it. So I got my say, and Tomlin is a winner. Deal with it. He has a winning record. He's winning on the field, and that makes a lot of sense, right? You put a bit of pressure on Tomlin, man. You've got to go win those games, and Belichick has his number. Of course, it doesn't help when Oshesky fumbles a football with his head. You know, yeah. What are your thoughts on that punt where we thought it was a safety from the get go? That would have changed momentum too. You know, that rule how they caught the punt and knocked it back in and almost been a touchdown. But do you think that should be a safety, or is that meant to be a touchback?
I think by the strict letter of the law, it's a touchback because he didn't ever have the ball under control.
Yeah, it's a weird rule though, right? Isn't it?
It's a weird rule, but to be considered a fumble and then a safety, it's got to be in the player's possession and then fumbled before it could be considered a thing. And I think, you know, as much as we might want to criticize the refs for that, it probably was a fair decision. Plus, it wouldn't have made the slightest bit of difference anyway, I don't think.
There's a good point there from I thought that was a bit of spam, but 2C4D makes a good point if you want to bring that comment up.
Yeah.
Like, team is overall great. Trubisky is anemic and can't leave receivers, pump fake, can't do anything, right? Can't go through his progressions at all. He just can't do it. He's awful to watch. O-line was solid. I agree with that. And Pickett might as well play. That's what we're saying. That to me, I guess, from my opinion, that's my argument in a nutshell. Might as well put Pickett in there and give him a chance. The O-line's doing okay. The run game is doing okay when it works. You know who's letting us down? The play calling with Canada. And maybe also the play calling is letting us down because Trubisky can't play. He can't. I almost swore, and I'm not going to swear in this program. He can't bloody play.
Mm-hmm. Jared Devil says in the live chat, Ben could have come down from the stands and given us 2 TDs.
Yeah.
2C, 4D, too controversial for debate, says the whole division will be 1-1 by tomorrow. We're good for the future. Depends very much, 2C, on who starts on
Cooper Rush
against the Browns. Yeah. Michael Mice says he agrees with what Jay said about Ben. I mean, yeah, the O-line for me again, it was solid. It did its job. And I think it is in a position there where you could actually put Pickett in. And I saw a great point on Twitter, and I can't remember who made it. And it was that, can somebody please tell me what Mitch Trubisky can do that is so much better than what Kenny could prospectively do?
Nothing. I really don't see what he can do. I think he's nervous. He's not confident. He's missing people. I saw yourself said that DJ was wide open in a certain pass. I thought a few times he could have checked down to Muth and he ran the ball. I just don't think he's a confident passer. And why can't we start Kenny?
Exactly. So let's move on to the quarterbacks, Mark. So The Trubisky, I mean, the first talking point around Trubisky in that game has got to be that interception that he threw in the first half. I mean, how he did not see that bloke stood, that DB of the Patriots stood in his passing lane, God only knows. I mean, the guy was stood virtually right in his, yet he still threw it into that passing lane. I mean,
I think it was the middle linebacker was cheating
yeah.
in, definitely, and the coverage was also pretty good from the safety. Now, we want him to go to the middle of the field, but you throw that pass, and it wasn't the best pass either, trying to get over the middle linebacker. Tip drill, see you later, mate, picked off. Nothing looks good about that pass. And you go back to Pickett in the preseason, he's connecting with his receivers. He's finding the open man and finding the right decision, whereas Trubisky's not. It's awful. Like how many times can you defend the guy? How many times can you get a chance? In the last 2 games, he has played absolutely terrible football. Terrible football, and he's put on 14 points, both by the way, off interceptions.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure off turnovers, right?
Yeah, Sean Manahan in the live chat says Mitch doesn't even try to look the defense off. No, he doesn't. And to me, he doesn't seem to be able to go through reads as well. He doesn't seem to be going through any progression in his reads. He just seems to get the ball, look, first person he kind of sees, that's who he throws the ball at, and there's no progression there. I mean, witness it like in particular, there was a incident in the second half where Deontay Johnson, who had a good game, got separation, was absolutely wide open downfield, and Trubisky completely missed him, checked down for nothing. And Deontay Johnson turned to the sideline, the Steelers sideline, threw his hands in the air, and apparently looked extremely angry and extremely frustrated by this. And some of the throws as well, Mark, you look at some of those throws that he threw, they weren't even anywhere near our wide receivers.
No way near. He's also throwing off his back foot. Now, there were times, too, they went into up-tempo. On the positive side, they went into up-tempo. They found Deontay Johnson, and they had some good routes there. They found only God knows why in the last 22 seconds before the half that they decided to push the ball down the field, and then with 2 good plays, and then instantaneously he took a sack. The bipolar offense is what it is, right? So is it more or less Trubisky's fault or Canada's fault? I'd probably say 50-50, but you got to maybe lean. No, it's got to be, no, sorry. It is 50-50 in my opinion. It's Canada's fault being terrible play caller and also Trubisky playing god-awful. And it's unreal, dude. Like, it's just frustrating. You can't score points.
I mean, Sean Manahan raises here. I mean, to get your take on this, Mark. How is Mitch being a 4 or 5 year pro when he's playing like a rookie?
I think he's even playing. I think he's playing worse. You say even rookies have a bit more, passion. To me, it looks like Jay Cutler. Do you remember Jay Cutler?
Yes, I remember Jay Cutler.
It looks like that guy out there. He doesn't on the sidelines. There's no energy. There's nothing like that. You don't ever see him smiling. You never see him getting the offense ready. They're walking out there stale. It's like in his mind, he's like, okay, Coach Canada told me to run this play. However, I see, the defense blitzing. Oh, I'm going to go for the same play. It's awful.
I think again, our friend here, 2C, take away 4D or minus 4D, whatever you said.
Yeah,
sorry.
Time.
He does wait for them. He doesn't try and catch them in their stride a lot of the time. And there's an awful lot of him, throwing behind receivers, throwing over receivers, throwing wide of receivers. Do you think there's going to come a point where the wide receiver core, which is a very talented wide receiver core, is going to lose faith in him?
Yeah, I think so. And I know you've got to find someone who is your guy, right? You need to be Trubisky to Deontay being your guy, or Trubisky to Pickens. They didn't use Pickens. They didn't use Ruth enough. They didn't get these people in motion. But the offense is that stagnant. They can't, the offensive coordinator can't coordinate a drive. They just can't. They can't move the football. We went yet again for another time, 3 and out. You know what I'm saying? 3 and out. So overall, quarterback play was really, really average, but below average.
100% agreed. I mean, I think it's worth noting as well, Mark, isn't it, that you look at the times when we needed to come back, when we needed to put drives together to come back and try and win that game in third and fourth quarters. And what did we do? 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out. And we didn't even look like moving the ball. And that was the frustrating thing. And I think, yeah, obviously there is the frustration there because obviously in the past, we've always had Ben Roethlisberger. And you've known going into the fourth quarter, if you're one score behind, you've got every chance that come the last few seconds of the game, Ben will be knocking on the door to try and get that winning touchdown pass or get the team in position for a winning field goal. And obviously that's something we've got to move on from. But to not even look like moving the ball is just so disappointing. I mean, at any point, Mark, did you have any faith at any point that Trubisky could lead that team back, even been 17-14 down?
No, I didn't. I no chance. I thought you can't score points. And, to come back to 17-14 was pretty good. That drive was awesome to see. He checked in the football to Najee Harris. He was wide open, but the defense was letting him be. You had Gunnar Olszewski on the good run. You had some good plays, and they looked confident. And then all of a sudden, the bipolar Canada offense stalled and did nothing because this guy's, I talk about Tomlin being a winner. Trubisky's not a winner. Like he's not. He hasn't done anything, and there's nothing telling me why he has a job with the Steelers. Nothing excites me about his offensive play. So yeah, if Gunnar didn't fumble it, sure, it went off right off his head. It was a bad play, but we ain't going to beat the Browns if we score 14 points. We're not going to beat the Miami Dolphins. We're not going to beat the Bills. We're not going to beat Buccaneers. It's going to be a long season. I would rather see the transitional progress of like going with Pickett and if he plays bad, to see him get better than to see. I think we know what we see with Trubisky right now. It's here. Whereas you don't know with Pickett.
I mean, Trubisky's stats from that game today: 21 completions from 33 attempts, 168 yards, 1 TD, 1 interception. Just nothing to write home about, nothing spectacular at all. And, as even though I don't rate Mac Jones 21 of 35, 252, 1-1 as well. So I don't think quarterback play was really have high quality from both teams today. But Trubisky in particular, those stats are they're not good, are they? That's 2 weeks now of really not very good stats.
And Mac Jones played a lot better. He played a lot better than we did. And even 250 is not too bad, but no sacks, right? They kept him upright. Trubisky gave himself a sack. If I go to the team stats and look at the box score, you had time of possession again, 26 minutes. It's not worth it, mate. It's 2 turnovers. We didn't rush the ball effectively. And if you want to talk about the running backs now, I think we're doing okay, but the whole thing runs around this Matt Canada offense, and it's just not. It's so frustrating, man. Oh.
I mean, just a quick comment here from Sean Manahan to get your take on this, Mark. Sean says, we have a short week. Rest Mitch. I think he means in practice. Give Pickett all the reps. If Mitch sucks first quarter, put the kid in. Yeah,
I'd say with that, if you give, why can't you put Mitch in for a half and see what happens and get away with a tie at half? If he's playing exactly the same, what makes you think it's going to change now? You know what I mean? This is the point where it's going to be. If it is it Trubisky or is it Matt Canada's offense? If it still struggles with Pickett, then you know it's Trubisky. If it's terrible with Pickett, then you know it's the offense. You have to decide. You're going to play this guy the whole season and play like this? What, 2 TDs? And the TDs that he got came off interceptions.
What do you think of this comment as regards obviously changing quarterback? Tomlin's pride will get in the way.
That's what it feels like too. That's what it does feel like, I don't know. We'll have to pay attention, I think, to the post press conference this week, and also, training and stuff like that to see what's going to happen, because the question will be asked. The fans have been yelling at can he? Like, it's crazy, man.
I mean, let's go on to the running backs next. We look at the running stats. Najee Harris, 15 carries, 49 yards, 3.3 yards average. Gunnar Olszewski, 1 carry for 18 yards, that jet sweep. Jaylen Warren, 4 carries for 15 yards, 3.8 yards average. Mitch Trubisky, 1 carry for 7 yards. And Mark's favourite player, Derek Watt, 1 carry for 2 yards.
Yeah. I missed that. I looked away when I saw Derek Watt out there, but overall, I think it's average, but I didn't mind them running the ball. They were trying to do something. They were trying, but the thought of Trubisky, I don't know. It's just hard.
Let's get a positive out of this now. Let's look for something positive. What was your take on Jaylen Warren in today's game?
Oh man, he plays awesome. I like how he goes north and south. I like the way that he blocks. I like the way that he escapes the routes. I thought he played really well. I thought Najee Harris, to a certain extent, played pretty well too. He still runs with fire. They just can't seem to get him open that second level. The guards, the tackles, they can't push that second level to get past the linebackers. But they were running enough. And of course, you probably can't run 3 times in a row. You need to build in that offense as well, building the play action, building the pass. And they're just not doing it enough because they get a good run or actually they get a good pass. And next minute, they're 2nd and 5 and they go back 2nd and 8. It's just awful play. But I thought the running backs did okay this game. It's just the whole scheme of it.
91 yards total rushing today. Still under 100 yards. But yeah, I think you're right. The scheme wasn't great. The run plays that were designed weren't great. And the other thing is, I think that is hurting the running game, and it kind of links into what we're going to talk about in a minute, is if the ball is not being thrown deep and the opposition defense know that you're not going to throw the ball deep, then they can load the box because they can bring defensive backs up into the box because they know they're not going to get beaten over the top. And that seems to be one of the things, because Trubisky either is not able to, or is unwilling to, or Canada is unwilling to scheme it. We are not throwing the ball deep, which means teams can, like they did last season, load the box because they know that we ain't going to go deep on anybody.
Yeah, and we didn't see that. We didn't see them try until that last 20 seconds. We didn't see them go, even just run a route to like where you are, testing out the secondary and having time in the pocket and give a chance one-on-one. We saw that with New England. New England tried that pass to Aguilar, whatever his name is, right? Yeah. They got a 30-yard pass. And Mac Jones thought, hey, we'll put it up and see what happens. The Steelers didn't do that, and they don't do that. And that's pretty much one of the big problems. They don't stretch down the field. They don't even try have a chance. They stick to the reverses. They try their gimmick plays where they roll out all the time and they go to the sideline. It's really poor offense.
Mark, a question for you here from Matt.
Nah, this was my favorite play. I didn't see it. I missed it. I don't think I have a favorite play today. I don't think I have one. Maybe Minka. Yeah. Minka's pick. That's about it.
2 picks in a row for Minka. That's wicked, isn't it? We'll talk about him in a minute. Anyway, we'll get onto that. You see, I think this sort of links into what we're going to talk about now in terms of the wide receivers. Seeing from stadium, there are no plays designed from Pickens or Claypool downfield, kind of depending on Johnson and Freiermuth on 3rd down. Yeah, I mean, Mark, did you see anything at all where we used the threat of George Pickens and Chase Claypool deep?
Only until that last play. The first play with 20 seconds to go, they went his way. That was only it. That's all I ever saw. I didn't see anything. The play calling is absolutely atrocious. So that's what I'm saying. Is it the play calling or is it Pickett? I mean, is it Trubisky? It's one or the other.
Yeah,
it's got to be one or the other. And
or is it a combination of both?
It could be.
I mean, if we look at a minute before we talk about the wide receivers, Deontay Johnson, 6 receptions, 57 yards, 9.5 yards average per catch, which was very similar to last season in terms of his average. Najee Harris was second, 5 receptions, 40 yards, 8 yards per catch, including that fantastic hurdle that he did. Chase Claypool, 4 receptions, 26 yards, 6.5 yards per catch. George Pickens, 1 reception for 23 yards. Pat Freiermuth, 4 receptions for 22 yards, 5.5 average, 1 touchdown. Jaylen Warren, 1 reception for no yards. Mark, can you explain what the seemingly allergic reaction the Steelers have to using George Pickens at all is?
I don't know why they're not using him, but what I can explain is they're throwing the football before the sticks. They're throwing it. There's design rollouts where there's only one option to go. They design rollout to Claypool, and Trubisky, all he has is Claypool open because he has to roll that way. I'm not a fan of the rollout. You know why? As soon as you roll out to one side, what happens? You can only throw one side.
Yeah.
You can't throw back off to your left. As soon as you roll out and you have to go, Claypool's going out to the edge. Of course, it won't be a touchdown. It's going to be a 5-yard play. I'm really not convinced with this offense like that. You got to roll out. I saw the play twice. They did it once, I think, in the first half and once in the second. First time it worked for 5 yards. The second time, he missed the football. And I'm just not convinced that it's a good way to move this offense forward. He doesn't go through his progressions. The receivers should be getting frustrated. I looked at the stats just then. The average yard reception is 8 yards. How many yards for a first down? 10.
10 yards, yeah.
They're not throwing beyond the sticks, man. It's awful. It's absolutely awful. No wonder Deontay's getting frustrated. I didn't see Claypool getting frustrated, but Muth was getting frustrated last week. What are you doing? It's the whole complement of the offense and Trubisky deciding where to go, and no one's going down.
I mean, yeah, I think there is a great deal of frustration. And certainly, if you saw Chase Claypool at the end of the game, he did cut a very frustrated figure sat on the bench. He looked absolutely fed up. I just think that with these wide receivers that we've got, with Pickens, with Johnson, with Claypool, and unfortunately, Calvin Austin III is injured, but we've got exceptional deep threats. Guys, go out, Steeler Nation, go out and have a look at George Pickens' college tape from Georgia. This guy goes deep and he burns people and he smashes people. We're just not using him like that. We're not using him full stop. Claypool, again, if you look back to his rookie season when he was successful, when was he successful? When he was being used to go deep and get the ball and burn off or beat off with physical strength opposition defensive backs. Are we doing that? No, we're not. And that's big part of the problem.
Can I just say, MVP so far is 2C4D. It makes a great point. He's brought up some really good comments today. 2C4D makes some great comments. See how pissed Hayward was at the end. Don't worry, he'll be in the coach. He definitely should be. What are you doing out there? This is an awful, awful offense. You scored seven points of TD last week, and then you scored 14. That's not good.
I mean,
they're better.
I mean, let's use this as a link, Mark, into talking about the Steelers defense. I mean, Cam Hayward, that's 2 weeks now where he's got to be absolutely fed up to the back teeth of his unit working their backsides off, and I'm trying not to swear here, working their backsides off, and just seeing the fact that he feels that they're working their backsides off, but the offense, well, certain individuals on the offense, shall we say, are not doing the same thing. Would you agree with that, Mark? Or
100%. This defense can't do it all. They got the pick. They almost got the Sutton pick as well. That was so close that would have changed the momentum too. And of course, it is a back and forth game. It is still a football game, but in this game, the advantage goes to the Pats 100%. Coaches outsmarted us. They got the certain plays. They got the break went their way with the Olszewski thing. And the defense can't do it all. There was no pass rush today. There was no TJ Watt. So Malik Reed and Highsmith were quiet. But maybe if we go back and look at the tape, there could be a possibility where they might have, I think you talked about the other day, they might double team a certain player like Cameron Hayward. The run defense was pretty poor as well. The middle of the field is wide open for anyone. You and I could run through that. So I'd be frustrated, man, because I know when you are if you're an elite athlete and you're surrounded by teammates who aren't, you can get quite annoyed because you're trying your best. And like last year, he knew the team wasn't that good. So Hayward's awesome, but the team overall on defense, it just couldn't. Imagine. Okay, I'll ask you this question, Owen. How would you feel if you're a player? Let's put yourself in some player's shoes, right? How would you feel if your offense went out there of the kickoff and they got 3 and out and you had to go out there?
Fed up, absolutely fed up. And why have I got to save this team all the time, and I'm not getting the same effort?
They went 4 yards. 4 yards. I think it was a run pass. 4 yards, and then they got a 3 and out, and next minute it's the defense has to come on to play. It's just a waste of a down. It's a waste of a drive. And if I was a defense, I would be frustrated. How can you what more do you want them to do? We talked about it. Turn the ball over 5 times. You can't turn the ball over 5 times. It wasn't going to happen. That was a fluke.
Absolutely. I mean, if we take the defense, I mean, the first thing to say again is the defense held the opposition to 20 points and under again today, 17 points.
Right.
Now, if you hold an opposition team to 17 points, you've got to expect your offense to score more than 17 points and win that game. Fact.
21. We've talked about it before. We've talked about it in the offseason. If this defense can hold them under 20, just go and score 3. Just score 3. They can't score it. They can't do it. You even said with the offense in the question to me, you're like, well, can Trubisky go down? He had 2 chances, 2, to at least get a field goal, and he didn't move the football. And then they had to stop the defense, had to stop them a third time, and they couldn't stop them. They ran the football to a first down. They won the game. They stopped them twice in the fourth quarter, and then the defense is like, what do you do?
Yeah.
You know, what do you do?
The 2C4D says, great show, guys. I'll try and catch you both live. I presume that's Chicago fan, by the way, lol. And I'm an early subscriber of both of you guys. Go Steelers.
hey, you know what's going on, though. So if you're a Chicago fan, before you go or whatever, what is your overall assessment of Trubisky? Because some fans in Chicago are probably laughing at us right now.
Oh, 100%. 100% laughing at us. They've got to be. I mean, and I think, did we unfairly all blame Matt Nagy for the disaster that is Mitch Trubisky? I mean, that'd be a question that's got to be asked. If we talk about obviously on the defense at the moment, do you think obviously that Alex Highsmith suffered today because of the fact that he was seen now as being the main pass rusher, and he's the one that's got to cope with having the target on his back? It's
going to be hard to go back and watch the film again or watch the game again, but I think if you go back and watch him on certain plays, I would say he'd probably got taken out. The offensive line played really well. Like, let's give the Pats some credit, man. The Pats played some good football today. They kept their quarterback upright. They ran the ball effectively, and they threw the ball in certain situations they needed to. They played a pretty good game. Now, Mac Jones is not the best guy out there, but they played enough to win. They should be pretty proud of that victory to get away with that 17-14. It's not the best. They're not the best on offense either, but yeah, they couldn't. They kept their fella upright. And that's something we didn't do. And they had a bit more cohesion to the offense. And the offensive line played well enough to keep everyone away from their quarterback. I thought they did pretty well.
I agree. I thought the Patriots' offensive line was exceptional. They kept Mac upright, as you said. They gave him time to look downfield. They gave him time to find Kendrick Bourne, Jacoby Myers, and Nelson Aguilar, Johnny Henry, is it? I think that guy is called the tight end. But yeah, they give him plenty of time, and I think let's give them credit. They did stop our pass rush. Obviously, a pass rush that's less effective when TJ Watt is not there, but they did do a very, very good job. Mark, what was your take on the Aguilar touchdown with Witherspoon?
I said to my people, I was like, my people, he went for it. He had a chance. Like, there was enough time in the pocket, 20, 30-yard pass or whatever it was. I thought Witherspoon tried to play it as best he could. Or Witherspoon, one more chance. If Witherspoon puts his hand up a little bit more, it's a incompletion. But I thought that's what the offense was doing. They gave Mac Jones time. The amount of time that Mac Jones had in the pocket was amazing on some throws. And that throw, he found his man. He took a chance, which is Trubisky's not doing. He took a chance, 50-50 ball, went and got it, TD, halftime, 10-3. That's the big difference. He was taking a chance, where Trubisky's not taking a chance at all. Not.
I mean, I know this is going back to our earlier discussion on the quarterbacks, but do you think that Trubisky is playing not to lose the job rather than to take a risk?
Yeah, big time. He's not exciting at all. He's playing. Yeah, I don't. I'm playing. You're living in your fears. Someone said to me, he's a game manager, and I was like, I don't want a game manager. It's not Costco's. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I don't want that. I want someone to go out there and do what Tua's doing, do what the Bills are doing. Go out there and be competitive to win. He's not doing that. If we go all the whole season playing like this, we will win 5 games. In my opinion, maybe. The Jets beat the Browns today. Flacco even was trying. Something's not clicking on this offense, and it's really starting to show without Big Ben. And we're getting more mobile, sure, but doesn't look good, mate. I've even seen him watching the game now. I'm watching the Cowboys at least try to go down the field to have a bit of a threat. They're not even trying to go down the field. That's the problem. Why aren't they trying to throw the football down 40 yards for a chance?
I don't know. Yeah, we'll come on to that in a moment, I think, when we talk about the coaching staff. But 2C4D says, I'm a female, I mean a chick, lol. And then she goes on to say that she lives across the street from the stadium too.
Oh, really? That's awesome.
Shouts and boos, clearly. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. I think, let's grasp the nettle, shall we? And I think we've established the defense. I know we spent slightly less time on the defense, but I don't think there's a problem there. I think the defense are great. I thought Minka again today, absolutely superb. Yet again, a second pick, ball hawk everywhere around the pitch. Minka was brilliant again, wasn't he, Mark? I think.
Minka's awesome, man, and also he can't do it all too. That pick was that throw by Mac Jones was an overhead throw. He led his receiver way too far, and Minka was a ball hawk and took it off. I think he's playing exceptional football, but he can't do it all. It comes down to the defense now just needs some time, man. They need to get in front. They need the team to like this played it the same way. It was the Pats were having the lead, run the football, and the game's over. And that's what they did. They ran the football near the end. I think they ran the football how many times? 31 times, right? And you can't stop that. That's how they played.
I mean, I think as well by the end, though, it was because the defense were tired. They were gassed again, another Kansas City Chiefs type incident from last season. And that doesn't bode well, obviously, for the Browns game on Thursday night. The Browns have seemingly this season decided to run, treat Jacoby Brissett as a mailman, rather than a delivery boy. And I think that's what they're kind of doing with him and relying on Chubb and Hunt. And I think, should they do that against us on Thursday, we could be in an awful lot of trouble. Obviously, the defense will probably may well get gassed again, because if Trubisky starts, I can't see them doing anything other than going 3 and out again. Against
can you see them scoring 3 touchdowns with Trubisky?
No,
neither. I can see them scoring 1, maybe. That's a problem, man. It's a problem.
Yeah, I mean, let's talk about Matt Canada to finish the show off today. Matt Canada, what is your take, Mark, on Matt Canada?
He's awful. Now that's an easy take, but I think he's done nothing for what I've seen. Look, I'm a fan. I'm not a coach, but what I see as a fan, I'm sick of seeing the reverses. I'm sick of seeing the shovel passes. It worked today, though. There was one pass where it did work today in the run option pass or run option to the tight end. I'm sick of seeing the design rollouts where you go to Claypool on the edge or whatever, or you throw the ball short of the sticks to Deontay. I'm sick of seeing the third and 8 or 3rd and 10 we had in the last 10 minutes where they threw the ball to Najee Harris. I'm sick of seeing all of it, man. Uninspired football, terrible play calling, unimaginative, you name it. Any one of those words, it is absolutely awful to see what he's doing to this team. And they're wasting a defense, and they're wasting so many players. You didn't target Pickens. You didn't move in, move into anywhere. The motion is just, it's gimmickal. Is that a word? It's a gimmick. You move a guy in motion, you don't use him. You move Oshesky in motion for half the game, then you use him once in the reverse. It kind of worked, right? You go to Najee Harris for a check down, it gets 10 yards, and the next minute you run Najee into the line and they go nowhere. It's the bipolar offense. It's terrible, dude. It's awful.
I agree with you 100% on that. To me, he doesn't seem to have any cohesive plan of what he's actually doing. And to me, it just seems like he's got a script in front of him, and he kind of goes, I'll have that one. I'll have that one. I'll have that one. I'll have that one. And if that one, and that one don't actually match up as an actual, a sequence of plays, it doesn't really matter. It's just what he fancies at that time in calling. Do you think part of the problem with this offense is, though, that the Steelers have, and I'm not talking about the players here, but in the coaching staff side of it, invested far more in the defensive coaching staff than they have in the offensive coaching staff? Because if you look at the defensive coaching staff, you've got Terrell Austin, you've got Brian Flores, Carl Dunbar, Grady Brown, all guys who are well thought of, highly respected defensive minds. Then on the offensive side, you've got Matt Canada, who his only previous experience has been in college. Frisman Jackson, I think, is doing a good job with the wide receivers, don't get me wrong. Then you've got Pat Mayer, who has only ever coached bottom of the ratings offensive lines and had one successful season when the Chargers played in San Diego. Do you think there's too many average coaches on the offense?
Yeah, I'd say so. Like I said, I'm not a coaching expert or whatever. I don't really look at these guys in college or whatnot. But what I'm seeing as a perspective as a fan, it's there's no imagination. That's exactly right. Zero imagination, and it's frustrating. Why aren't they putting him in a spot to, like, okay, if Muth is over the middle. You know, why don't you? If this guy is not open down the field, you should have this guy open next. If he's not open, run. You know, there's nothing like that. It's really terrible. Sorry, I'm getting a bit tired now. I've been up since 3, but like, you take over.
I mean,
I'm
yeah,
done with it. I'm so done.
I mean, to me, Mark, it just seems like, I mean, if we look at the Canada, the so-called Canada system, or whatever that Canada system is, I mean, our good friend Noah Strack, being on the podcast we did a few months ago, talked about the fact that the Canada system just seems a lot of people moving around for no particular reason whatsoever, to try and look different. And I think if you look back across Matt Canada's career as well, he's never ever really stayed anywhere for longer than 1 to 2 years. That seems to be his MO, and he then moves on, kind of maybe when he's found out. I don't know, but what we've got to remember is that he was successful. He was successful, shall we say, as a college offensive coordinator, but being successful at the college level is exceptionally different to being successful at the NFL level. I mean, if you look at the college game is so different to the NFL game. As someone who, I watch college football, I watch Penn State, I watched, Georgia looking awesome this season, don't get me wrong, but that offense, the offenses they run are not offenses that would work in the NFL. And I think that's part of where Canada's falling down, thinking that his clever college scheme can work in the NFL. It's men against boys, isn't it?
Is he scheming is he actually scheming against these defenses? You know, or is he just saying, well, my playbook's going to work because I know it's going to work? Or is he actually scheming against, well, this defense, they like to blitz off the air? You know what I'm saying? Like, is he taking advantage of the defense, or is he just playing his own offense and going, oh, my offense should work? Your offense is terrible. Like, at the end of the day, it is absolutely trash. It's scored 21 points in 2 games. Hasn't looked like winning at all. They can't move the football. They 3 and outs and puts the defense on back foot. I know some other teams around the league too. I think the Colts got beat. Like, they didn't score a point this week. I think they didn't score. Hang on.
They lost 23-0 to Jacksonville or something.
Right. That's bad too, right? So it's not just us, but at the same time, it's football. You got to go out there and be competitive. They're just not being competitive. And it's frustrating because you see them go into hurry up mode and they do okay. And then you see them regress instantaneously, just fall over. There is a like, I would put some heat on Tomlin this week and maybe see how it goes this season. I'm a big fan of Tomlin, I really am. But if they're gonna go with Canada the whole season, if this over the next 2 or 3 games, this is exactly the thing we're going to see, we will lose. We'll have a top 10 pick. Like, we'll be 5 and something, maybe. You can't win with this guy. You can't.
No, I think you're right in what you're saying, Mark. To me, he doesn't seem to scheme for what he is facing. I mean, although Mike Tomlin says he is in terms of the Bengals game, he said that's why he didn't throw deep because of the fear of Von Bell, Jadeveon Awuzie, and Jesse Bates.
What was the point that he said through this week? He told me he was happy with the 2 yards or 3 yard gain or something.
Oh yeah, so he was interviewed. I can't remember where he was interviewed, but I was reading an interview. I think it was on Steelers Depot or somewhere like that. There's a lot of good stuff on Steelers Depot, and he was saying something like he was happy with the 2, 3, 4 yard running gains, and he was happy with the positions they were putting themselves in on 3rd down. And it's just like, mate, seriously, you need to. Yeah, I mean, the American comedian called Joe Rogan says that when he was a kid, he could have done with someone sat next to him, and he could have done with writing down what he was about to say and showing it to someone, and they would have gone, "No, man, you can't say that." I think Matt Canada at times could do with someone sat next to him, and he writes down what he's about to say, hands it to them, and they're going to go, "No, you really can't say that. Do not say that. That's just ridiculous." And to me,
why are you happy with 2 or 3 yard gains? You shouldn't be playing to put yourself in a position of 3rd down. You should be playing to put yourself in a position of 2nd and 8. Sorry, 2nd and 2, 1st and 10. Move the football down the field. Like, that's another brilliant comment. Canada's not adjusting to the defense. No, you've ruined your unique game plan to attack the defense. You're going out there and getting 3 and out. You're going out there and just not, okay, this drive, what do we want to do? The same thing. The game plan doesn't change. You can see it all the time. The reverses happen here and there. They run Najee into a wall. They're not pulling any guards. The receivers are going through the motion. They maybe even in their heads, they know in this play they're not getting the football, right? They probably know that. The mindset should be every single receiver should be acting like they're going to get it. And then when you do those rollouts with the Claypool stuff, they know Deontay Johnson's not going to get it because he's running away from Deontay. Why would they go his way? They're going to get fed up. They have to. This is the point. You know what? I'm glad they lost today. I'm happy they lost because they need to wake up.
Yeah.
They need to wake up. Like it's terrible.
I vote. I mean, I don't know you, Mark, but I vote 2C4D for offensive coordinator for the next game.
She's making a lot of sense. There's nothing unique about this game plan at all, and that's it. The game plan. You're not just doing a drive here and there. You're deciding, okay, what happens if we get down to 14-3? Do we try and come back? You know, all those kind of things come into your head. It's when I watch the game, I think you have a chance to win. Every team 0-0. You watch the game today, you kind of knew the game was done, didn't you? You kind of knew the game was done. Your dog could play better.
I'll get him on. I know he doesn't want to come on. He's playing with his toy in the conservatory. But no, I think Robin Ralph makes an interesting point here as well. His play calling is probably limited because of Biskey's play too. And I think it is very much, I think you were absolutely spot on, Mark, with what you said at the start. It's 50-50. It's 50% Trubisky. It's 50% Canada. And I think you've got a perfect storm of averageness there.
That's awful, isn't it? It's not exciting. There's no chance for us to win. I don't expect if we play the same way. I don't expect us to beat the Browns. To be honest, at home, I really don't. Oh 100%. Man! But you know what? Look, I'll say one last thing before we start to end it. I always say Tomlin is a winner, and to me, he still is because I say he's a winner on the field, off the field, all that stuff. But there's a bit of heat right now. Like he must. I'm not saying go fire him. I'm not doing that far. I'm not being a fire time. I'm saying there's a bit of heat, mate. You know, make a decision. Fire. I don't even know who you would get as offensive coordinator. Just go fire him and get someone else.
I think you're right. I mean, in terms of head coaches, you know, it's proven that teams that fire their head coaches during the season are teams that usually then fail abysmally. I mean, obviously there's always exceptions to the rule, like the Las Vegas Raiders last year, but that was a slightly different circumstances to why John Gruden was fired rather than around performance. But you know, if you look about, you know, the Browns have got a long history of doing it, and where do they always finish? The Jacksonville Jags have got a long history of doing it, and where do they always finish? And if you look across other sports, you know, I'm a big rugby union fan. People who sack their directors of rugby in the middle of seasons never go on to have good seasons. It just does not happen. Because the other argument is who is out there? You know, who do you go and get? So those people who might come out the woodwork this week with the sack Tomlin crowd, which we know we're going to hear from this week. Okay, fine. Let's sack him. You tell me now, who are you going to go and get that is going to do a better job than Mike Tomlin this season with that team? Tell me. I'd love to know. And don't give me this Eric Bieniemy or whatever, because they are not going to release him whilst he is under contract this season.
No, you're right. And that's what I'm saying. I think there needs to be a little bit of pressure. Like Mike O'Malley said before, you know, he didn't play well and they were out-coached 100%. But it's an overreaction to say, go and fire him, you know. And of course, maybe you can't fire the OC, but it feels like I just want to see you guys, something happen, you know. Oh, man.
There we go.
We're awesome. Yeah, we don't mean to be too negative too, but like it's so early for me and it's almost late for Owen. I'm just like, I'm just sick of seeing the offense be so stale. I really am, dude. I want to see them go out and do something. Like, can you develop a game plan to run Najee Harris? Develop a game plan to run Najee and use Warren? Develop a game plan to use Watt, to use these receivers? Pickens in the slot, get him involved, move open one-on-one with the worst player. Develop something. It doesn't happen.
Exactly. And Matt, I do love your optimism. There with that comment.
Yeah, that's a big play too. Gunner failed us. He threw the game away.
Secret weapon for New England.
Yeah, the other guy looked like Gunner. Schooley looked exactly the same.
Schooley, yeah. Your beer, which I heard in your live chat. Okay, guys, we're going to pull it together now because obviously we're getting a bit down, like going down too many negative alleys now. Obviously, we are on a short week this week. We're building up towards the game on Thursday night at First Energy Field against the Cleveland Browns, another AFC North Titanic clash coming up on Thursday. And Mark and I will obviously be dropping video content throughout this week, so look out for that. And also, I think Mark and I are planning probably to do a live before the Cleveland game.
Yes, we should be.
Yeah.
Thursday night we should be about an hour or so before the game, and I can't wait for that. And I agree with you, 007. It's going to be in transition. I don't feel as bad about. This is kind of funny. I'm kind of happy they lost to a certain degree.
Mm.
Do you know what I mean? Because now it puts a bit of pressure on the counter and Trubisky. Well, you lost. You didn't escape with the win. You know. The season's not over. It's not over because we still have the chance. I think if you do go this next 6 games, 3-3, you still got a chance. The AFC North all lost today. The Cowboys are beating the Bengals. I can't believe that at the moment. But it's a big game. It's a big game to go 2-1 in the Browns and then come back home to the Jets. So let's see what can happen. You know, let's see what I don't know about you. I don't feel as bad this week. I kind of like I've dealt with it. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
Whereas last week was like, what happened?
Mate, after the performance of Wasps yesterday, I was kind of expecting another bad day today, to be honest. If you after another 9-hour shift at work, I was kind of expecting it in a way. So I'd kind of resigned myself to it.
They played well, man. The Pats played well. We just played average in certain spots, and the fumble killed us, and the fumble killed us, and then we couldn't get a 2 drives. You know, the defense stopped the offense twice. Then the offense for the Steelers had 2 chances to go down the field, get a field goal to tie, or at least to get a touchdown.
Mm.
And their offense isn't built to score points. That's at the end of the day, they're not built to score more than 20. They can't just yet.
Yeah. Okay, Mark, let's get out of here because you need to go and get some sleep because you've been up since 3 a.m. I need to walk the dog and get some sleep. Guys, thank you to all the ladies and gentlemen as well in the live chat today. You know what's been great, Mark, is actually having a female perspective as well on the game. I think football is often seen as been, with a lot of the commentators and people who talk about the game, has been a male-dominated thing. But it's been great, I know, from myself, from having Mackenzie Miller on my shows and things like that, and obviously having 2C4D and Robin Rao, having a female perspective on has been absolutely fantastic as well. Steelers Chick, I know, obviously contributes as well. So thank you to everybody, male and female, in the live chat. It's been great having you on board. Thanks for your comments. Thanks for your questions. Absolutely superb. Thank you very much. Perhaps we need to finish it in a different way. Perhaps we all need to finish it with a Kenny.
Yeah, no, okay. One last thing there. The ladies love their sport, man. They love their Steelers. They are passionate. They are crazy, dude. Yeah. I've been around some Steelers fans overseas, and they love their football. So shout out to you guys, because you guys give it your all. I've seen you guys at the games. You guys are crazy in a good way.
100%. Okay, thank you, everybody. We will talk to you again this week. Please make sure you continue to check out Pittsburgh Steelers content. Also, check out and subscribe to Steelers Nation Australia with Mr. Mark Davison and Britsburgh Owen with me as well. Guys, we'll speak to you again this week. We'll see you on the live Thursday. Great to have you in the live chat Thursday. Oh, well, we move on. We go again. We get ready for Cleveland on Thursday.
Kenny.